Snowflake was the largest software IPO to ever hit the market, and its founders are still building the product today, and they're still best friends.
Okay, now it gets serious.
Now we have to work. Okay.
Now we have to work. We were good friends, and that was for me the one reason not to do Snowflake.
It's rare that a product-led founder or the technical founder has never assumed the CEO position. Why have neither of you taken that up?
From day one, we had no interest in being a CEO.
In this interview, Benoit, Thierry and I discuss why they left Oracle to build Snowflake and the competition their company is facing today.
But it's true that we had no desire to build a company. We wanted to build the most amazing products, and it happens that you need to build a company to do that.
It was impossible to build Snowflake inside Oracle, even if we wanted to.
How do you ensure, Thierry, culturally, that the next revolutionary product to do with data and AI is built within Snowflake, that somebody doesn't have to leave Snowflake to build it to compete with you?
No, it's a very deep question. I think it's.
And I have a great answer.
Okay, go.
At its time of listing in 2020, Snowflake was the largest software IPO to hit the market, reaching a $70 billion valuation in its first day as a public company. It even attracted investment from Warren Buffett's firm Berkshire Hathaway. These are the two men who built the company together, once colleagues at Oracle, turned co-founders of one of the most dominant enterprise software stacks. Today, Snowflake is worth around $51 billion as competition has come up from the likes of DataBricks. Although the companies are different, Snowflake is focused on data warehousing, helping companies store and analyze their data in the cloud, ultimately allowing them to take advantage of AI. Snowflake's products are used by PepsiCo, Hershey's, Zoom, Emirates, Under Armour, Pfizer, NBC Universal, and even the New York Stock Exchange. It made $3.4 billion in revenue in the financial year just ended, a 30% annual growth rate. On top of that, it's forecasting 24% annual revenue growth this financial year. I wanted to find out how the co-founders are fueling that continued growth with their ongoing involvement in Snowflake today. They were just in New Zealand meeting with customers and made time to talk with me about their journey so far. Well, Benoit and Thierry, it's lovely to meet you. Thank you so much for doing this when you're in New Zealand for only a short amount of time.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I think if we can start at the very beginning of your story together, I love that you are both such deep technological founders. Thierry, I believe that you have your name on more than 200 patents, and yours, Benoit, is on more than 270, if I'm correct.
Yes.
But Benoit, I've heard you say before that the pair of you did not want to start a company.
Yes.
So why did you?
You know, I always say it's a collateral damage, starting a company. We wanted to build a product, right? And we actually try maybe we thought about, maybe building where we were working at Oracle. And that would have been, very fine with us, but we realized that it would be impossible because of the competition, internal competition. So we had indeed to build a company, to build our, product. And that was also, at the end, it became really fun because you learn a lot of things that we were not, exposed to. So there is, it's fun to build a company at the end. It's not like it's that bad. But it's true that we had no desire to build a company. We wanted to build the most amazing products, and it happens that you need to build a company to do that.
That's an interesting point you make at Oracle, because both of you were data experts in the core data team at Oracle for, was it like a decade together?
16 years for me, 13 years for him.
Wow, that seems, from an outsider at least, as though Oracle would have been the perfect fertile ground for you to build this product. But it wasn't. You had to leave to build it.
No, it's a very fascinating question, because why that question is going to be asked to us, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. So that very same questions we will be keep asking. Why I think it was impossible to build Snowflake inside Oracle, even if we wanted to, even if we had the resources to, is because you don't really start from a blank page, and you have to mitigate with existing technology, existing people, existing organization, existing sales organization, existing billing model, etc., etc. And so all these constraints that you take into account we will never have created Snowflake as it is today inside any company, actually. The fact that you go out and you forces you to focus on what makes you unique.
And you start from a blank page. I think
Yes.
that was so nice, and it's so scary at the same time, I have to say, because we left Oracle and we started in my apartment. We had just a whiteboard, and we say, my God, we are missing so many of these things that you take for granted, right? When you work in a big company, because you have, frameworks, you have tools, you have, complete development environment. Here we are just a whiteboard. And we wanted to build at the same time, we wanted to start really from scratch, from a blank page, really reinvent, and now no constraint, which was really fun, but as I said, a little bit scary, I have to say.
But you would have had, from your time at Oracle, a specific insight in each of your minds that told you the exact product to build and what was needed, and that customers would buy it. What was that insight? Or did you
actually
not
no,
have it?
No, that's the thing. Not at all. We knew that cloud was really a revolution, and no one really, and we knew that analytical systems are by definition, very dynamic in terms of compute resources. You use them a lot for 1 hour, then you don't use it. So they need this elasticity, this compute on demand. So we knew cloud was obviously an amazing, platform to build upon. We knew that leveraging machine-generated data. So that was the Hadoop, the big data revolution at the time. But Hadoop was such a catastrophic system, so bad, that we knew that we could do 10 times better or 100 times better. And at the same time, we knew that the industry we were on was very very slow moving. There was really not a lot of innovation. I say I spent 16 years, 13 years. It's not like we saw so many new things at our time at Oracle, right? It was so moving. It's like the core database. So we knew that we could reinvent this in the cloud and reinvent big data, both big data and data warehousing, traditional data warehousing in the cloud. But we had no idea what to do, but we had to leave, right? Because we knew that we would potentially compete with Oracle at some point, and we didn't want to think even about it and how to do it. So this is why we left Oracle. We went to my apartment. We bought this whiteboard from Amazon in my living room. My wife was not very happy with the whiteboard in the living room, but that's okay. And then we spent our days, working around this whiteboard and kind of rethinking about the architecture. And then we got very excited, of course, with the solution.
Well, what was interesting at that time is that the world of data was passing by us, because there was a revolution in the air, which is why people liked Hadoop. Was a very crappy system, but people saw something into it, and that belief that something, in the air there is a revolution which is happening, and you have to feel it, and that energy, that question that was asked to us by the world, which says, okay, you are going to become dinosaurs in Oracle if you don't embrace this revolution which is happening in the air. That question was asked to us. What is it that you want to be? Do you want to be part of it or not part of it? Anyway, the world is moving. And that answer to that question was Snowflake for us at the time. I have a feeling that it is happening today.
With AI.
With AI and machine learning.
Okay, talk to me about that. What is the next revolution in this?
You feel in the air that everybody is excited about it, does not really know exactly where we are going, does not. This is inflection point where there is complete uncertainty by everybody, but everybody knows that you have to do it somehow, somewhere, and this is a moment for a lot of other company than Snowflake, which is exciting.
Yeah. Everyone, is asking, how can I leverage AI? What does it mean, AI? It's obviously a huge revolution, and it's interesting because I guess the data revolution, the cloud, big data, machine generated data. We were geeks, so we knew about it, but no one, while AI, everyone knows, everyone uses AI, now every day, and feel that we are just at the beginning, and so it's even more profound that there is something, right? When we saw the cloud and we saw machine generated data, petabyte scale, we knew that we could. There must be another solution that this very traditional database system like Oracle. We knew that there was something else, and we wanted to be part of this revolution, not to stay on the sideline and seeing the thing walking by.
Well, throughout the years at Snowflake, you're both involved in the product and vision still today. What's fueled that evolution of product to become a more AI data platform?
Say it again. What's
fueled the evolution of the products at Snowflake from what you were at the beginning, which was solely data warehousing, through to a more AI platform?
So I mean, it's a good question. First, I always mention that we never built Snowflake as being a data warehouse in the cloud, right? It was very important to combine, core, database data warehousing capability with, big data and petabyte scale, data sets, put in independent storage, which can be called a lake today. So that's the integration of these two things in the cloud. That's what Snowflake V1. But you're right. We always thought that if we can make that revolution and people can move to Snowflake, we are not going to stop there, because this is just the beginning. And the next, revolution, and it slowly goes to AI. I'm going to explain why. The next revolution was collaboration, right? We wanted to unsilo data. We wanted people, independently of where compute is running, data should be accessible no matter where it is. And that was the collaboration, the marketplace, connecting, companies, through data, because, you are not in an island, your data, you need to connect it with other data sources. So that was revolution number 2. Revolution number 3 was now to expand to application, right? Data is super cool, but at the end, business users are not, connecting directly to data. They need, to use a product, a final product, which was, application. So we said, how can we really, connect, create this bridge between the data and the business user that has no idea on how to create the data. So we wanted application to run inside Snowflake. And then, of course, when AI came into picture, we said, this is like amazing. Now, not only end users are going to use these applications, but they can now directly, through these applications, probably talk to their data in natural language. So this is, and that's the barrier, because even if you use an application, if you have to talk the language of even if you use a dashboard, application, you need to understand data. While now you can talk to your data. So this is the next, frontier of democratization of data sets. So we went through this different phases of the evolution, and integration of AI for us is two things. We always say, okay, AI needs data, and it needs a lot of data. That's true, but data needs AI too, and we are integrating. So it's not like one is on top of the other or vice versa. It's really the melting of these two technologies, very deeply integrated together, such that as a customer, you get the best of both. You can use Snowflake as an AI platform which leverages data, and at the same time you can use your data platform, which is really going way faster and does much more things because it has AI. And the last thing I want to mention is we talk about structured data, which is this traditional data warehouse system, semi-structured data, which is machine-generated data, logs, and petabyte scale. But the third one, which is probably the most important, data set, is unstructured data, which is documents, right? You watch videos, you look at PDF document, Word document, all the documents, all the files that exist. And for the first time, analytical system and data system can get data automatically without human intervention, extract data, index this unstructured data, combine it with structured data. So you can have really a platform that cross across, all these type of data, and you can build amazing products, with all of that. So that's a huge revolution. And for our life, we never thought that unstructured data would be part of the data assets, right? It's something that humans use, right? Yes, but it's not like machine cannot interact with unstructured data. This is the world of the human, and then semi-structured and structured data was the world of machine. Now you can connect the two, and that's a huge revolution, huge.
Speaking of revolutions, this next AI revolution then, if you two had to leave Oracle to create that revolutionary product back then, how do you ensure, Thierry, culturally, that the next revolutionary product to do with data and AI is built within Snowflake, that somebody doesn't have to leave Snowflake to build it to compete with you?
No,
it's a very deep question. I think it's a
and I have a great answer.
Okay, go.
No. I'm going to say why. So you're very right. At some point, and it's not a problem. Actually, it's a feature of the platform is that people can build inside our AI data cloud without being, Snowflake employees. I always said, we don't have enough expertise, Snowflake, to build amazing data products, for all industries. We don't have the knowledge of these different industries and these different products. So we want to make Snowflake the best platform for developers to create data products. Think about your cell phone, and the analogy is really the cell phone, right? Your cell phone, which is, let's say, an iPhone, the goal of that is to run applications which are not necessarily developed by Apple, right? And that makes your product, your cell phone, amazing, right? Because you can interact with all these systems, and that's the value you see. So for us, it was really, this application, the revolution that I mentioned was really to open the platform and have, companies contribute data products, in our platform to enrich, the capability of this platform as if it had been developed by Snowflake. And, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. So actually, we had employees, okay, and leaving Snowflake to build, but they were, so into the platform that they left to build a startup that would create a product that will run on the Snowflake AI Data Cloud, leveraging, because they knew, all the possibilities, that you had. You can combine, AI with data. You can do all these things on structured and unstructured data. So the power of this platform is so great that you can build this product, and now because your product can reach, this amazing financial institution where you will never have a chance as a startup. So I don't mind, so much, people leaving Snowflake and building this product, right? As long as they're running out that.
Do you agree, Thierry? Do you mind?
No, actually, it's a great answer. I think the power of the platform is how it demultiply the power of things that works on top of it. The success of a platform we are going to be judged by the success of our partners, of our things that are on top of us. But to come back to your question, I still believe that there is innovation to happen inside Snowflake too. And we have to be very keen on protecting this innovation, finding these stem cell engineers and, inside the company to give them the ability to actually move the platform itself, because the platform is a huge leverage, for all these things that we are building on top of it. So we still need to. We still
need engineers. You're right. Good point.
But this whole evolution of product, it's not just Snowflake, right? This has happened across all data competitors. And I hate to name a competitor, but if you consider DataBricks, one of your more fierce competitors, who are you talking about? But there has been a convergence in the product offerings. While respecting that you still have very unique product offerings, now that you also work with unstructured data, there has been a convergence in capabilities somewhat. What is the unique product approach, other than just being agnostic and wanting people to be able to build on your platform? Thierry, what's the unique product approach that you have at Snowflake that will allow you to continue to differentiate?
I think Benoit will have a better answer, but I think the simplicity, the fact that we have a coherent, consistent platform for our user, something super simple. Simple things make things super powerful because nobody has time to babysit a complex system in order to do what they want. They want to do, they have a day job and they don't want to think about their data platform. And so that DNA of Snowflake, which is about, the simplicity of a platform, both in terms of projection of features, is something we need to preserve at all cost. And it has different instantiation depending on this different user that we have. But I really think this attention to making things super simple for whatever persona we are talking to is the key.
So DataBricks is the PC, and we are. but no, but this is the same answer. Go ahead.
No, DataBricks in the wall. Okay.
Okay, but I think this is the key differentiator, and oftentimes people think, okay, simplicity means not very complex product, not very powerful product, right? They associate that as a potentially I can do less, right, with simple, and it's exactly the reverse actually. When you look at electric cars, right? Okay, you don't have any more to shift, and you don't need to shift. It's not like so much the car is shifting for you. The technology makes it, you don't need gears, okay, anymore, and it's such a powerful and advanced. So you can think of simplicity not as there is a layer that tries to mimic a human being and try to be as smart. At DataBricks we'll talk a lot about, okay, you need AI, right? And we have put a lot of AI to make all these decisions for you, to turn all these knobs such that you don't have to turn knobs. But they are knobs, right? That's the problem, right? It's a technology with a lot of knobs and a lot of complexity. So you can have a layer, lipstick, I call it lipstick on a pig, that turns these knobs for you and helps you. But knobs are static, right? When you have, to my analogy with shifting gears, it's not a great technology because you have this transition, right? If you create a technology that doesn't have gears, not only it's great because you remove one knob, but you create a much better technology which goes faster. So performance is really key here. Why we remove all these knobs, you will hear about micro partitioning, for example, in Snowflake, and all this technology which is underneath is such that we can go way faster. And not only you don't need to think about how am I going to organize my data, partition my data, that's great, right? One simplicity, but the reason we did it is not only to be simple, but to be faster. And when you are faster, when you are more agile, you pay less, right? Because in the cloud, you pay for what you consume. Something which is fast is something which is cheaper, where you need less, people attending the system. You need less, administrators, less, and so it has a huge, downstream impact. It's not just about simplicity. Okay, Snowflake is not that it's simple. It's just what you derive from this simplicity. And I think that's and also, from personal experience at Oracle, it was super important. Try to make the Oracle system easier to use. So I spent a lot of time, and I always say this is impossible. If the foundation are not designed for simplicity, you cannot hide complexity. You can say I have a lot of AI stuff, and you can say all of this, but you cannot hide complexity. Complexity cannot be removed from the top or hidden. Hidden complexity is complexity.
So you want Snowflake's products to be frictionless for the customer.
And built with this assumption that we have to remove the knob, but the knobs is not like we set the knobs. We don't have knobs internally, right? And that's it's a continuum, right? It's not like we have zero knob, and we have some knobs that we are not actually proud of and that we had to introduce. But every time we introduce one, I can tell you this is like weeks of discussions, and we try everything, so and that's it's such a core part of the engineering culture of Snowflake. Remove knob, but it's not automate knobs. Is remove it, change the algorithm, rethink, from first principle, and that I think is the huge differentiator which has impacts everywhere.
You've alluded to it even in that answer, the weeks of discussions that you have internally. You are both still so involved in the product and vision of the company today. Can you talk me through what that looks like day to day for each of you? Are you leading the product? Are you leading the product teams? Are you the ones making changes to products before they're released?
Yeah, well, I mean, we are involved at multiple levels of the organization. We are working very closely with certain teams because we are building and we are part of project. We are reviewing and trying to drive bigger initiative in the engineering organization. And then there is strategic things that
and small projects. Thierry loves to do small projects. We are sitting next to each other.
You still get the whiteboard out sometimes.
Super geeky things. Thierry is so excited about, look, Benoit, I committed that, and it's a pretty great feature. And the problem is the documentation. The dog writers say, when is it going to be enabled? So everyone is scared when we are coding too much. So we have to slow down, but we love coding too.
I love that. I love that you two are still such good friends too. I mean, what do you think that the relationship between the two of you, the bromance, I think we can call it that, has contributed to Snowflake's success?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. No. This interaction, this interaction, created Snowflake, but created us too, because it's a little bit like a relationship. You have to find places, etc., strength and places, and so it takes time too. But it's definitely part of the success of Snowflake, I think.
It's funny because we knew each other very well at Oracle. We were good friends, and that was for me the one reason not to do Snowflake is that I thought that, of course, if we do that together at some point, we are going to start to argue, and this is going to be a painful thing, and it might destroy our friendship, and that's I thought it's not worth, right? This is one part which is not worth doing Snowflake, is that part, and we decided to do it, and I have to say that we are one of the times, improve our friendship, because of Snowflake. So it's funny because oftentimes you say don't do business with friends, right? It never works, but it worked very well in our case, right? And it's such a, startups are also ups and downs. You have pain and difficulties, and so we are such an help, and we are very different characters, and so it's also we complement each other very well, and at the same time we have exactly the same vision of the same ambition for the product, which is helping. So we never have a discussion about that, right? It's a great. I have to say it's a great friendship.
This is a slightly more personal question, and it speaks to the scaling of Snowflake to become from what was your idea on a whiteboard into the incredible company that it is today. There's a history of incredible technical product-led founders like you two who have brought on great commercial partners to help scale their businesses. Mark Zuckerberg brought on Sheryl Sandberg, Larry Page, Sergey Brin brought on Eric Schmidt, Bill Gates brought on Steve Ballmer.
That didn't work very well.
For other reasons. I mean, he was a very energetic guy, if you've seen that video.
Developers.
But it's in the history of Snowflake, you've brought in commercial partners to scale the business. It's rare that a product-led founder or the technical founder has never assumed the CEO position. Why have neither of you taken that up? Did you not want to? Was that intentional?
It comes from what we said. We really wanted to build a product, not a company, and from day one we had no interest in being a CEO or doing that part. And I think it's very important when you build something big. There is a lot of things that you don't know, and it's very important to bring the right people at the right place. And at the end, I often contrast that to, okay, this is a little bit personal, but to have kids. Okay, when you have kids, you have two parents, right? And these are the two parents for the rest of their life. In a company, it's a little bit different. You have your baby, right? When we started, Snowflake was really our baby, and then you have to integrate new parents, right? It's like you have to bring people that you really have to trust, and the trust is very important. It goes both ways, but you have really to trust and empower these people to drive, the business side, the things that, we are not good at, and we have, and we should focus on the product, right? Because this is where we have our expertise, and definitely not, sales, and not marketing, and not, so knowing how to do that, yes, people are sometimes surprised why you were not the CEO, as if that was the most important thing. I think our position is the most important, right? CEO is not that important.
But it's interesting that you brought somebody like Mike Spicer from Sutter Hill Ventures on as CEO from the very beginning. Like, you clearly both recognized that very early on.
So Mike Spicer is I would say, almost the third co-founder of Snowflake, really.
Okay.
And Mike is the one that really pushed us and say, you guys, because we said, okay, we are only two, right? You realize, Mike, that we are only two, and you are telling us that we can build a company that can, compete with the like of the Oracle and the Teradata and, and more. So, you are crazy, right? And he convinced us that yes, with great technology, but he said, you need to do that, not because you think you are a good businessman, right? You are not a good businessman, right? You are amazing technologist, and if you succeed, it will be thanks to that. So he said, we should not hire any CEO at the beginning of Snowflake, because that would be a huge mistake, because you will get a very bad CEO. So you want to build a technology and then get a CEO. So I will be the CEO, but I have no desire to be a CEO. I will be a one-day CEO. It was funny because we started Snowflake, and we had a lot of space. We had a big room, a common room, and then slowly he was coming once a week, and slowly his office was moving because we had an engineer joining. So Mike, your office now is there and there. And at some point he had just there was a couch, and you don't have any more office, so he was sitting on the couch.
You really put him in his position. Yeah. This is your spot.
It was a fun thing. So the CEO at the beginning was not important, and 1 year and a half. After starting Snowflake, he said, now we need to get real professional. This is when we hire Bob Muglia, which was an amazing CEO for Snowflake, really brought Snowflake from small thing to GA and beyond. And Frank Studman brought Snowflake to IPO.
We will talk about that. Yeah.
And of course, Sridhar is the king of AI and the new world. So grow the product, because it is very important, right? We are a technology company. We are building technology, and that starts with that.
But it's not just the CEO. This fundamental belief that there is people better than us at something else, which is needed to build a complete company. Some company is like a body. It needs to have two legs, abs, and arms.
You two are the heart,
be balanced.
I guess.
But
I will not say what we are.
The brain, you're the brain.
But I like the art. We are for sure the art. We are sharing the brain with many people.
What would your advice be to other technical founders when finding and ultimately choosing an external commercial executive to lead their business?
We have a good, so when we were searching for our first CEO, then it was a scary time, right? Because we knew Mike Spicer very well, and now we are looking for having someone else being the CEO. So we interviewed, many people. And Mike Spicer said, okay, I interviewed this guy, Bob Muglia from Microsoft. I don't like Microsoft people in general, but he is amazing. Bob Muglia is amazing. So I say, okay, what about sales, marketing? I thought he was amazing because of competency. And he said, no, that's almost not too important. What matters is values. Values that you guys share with him. And, I asked him a lot of questions about, salary, if he wanted to have a private office. And Bob Muglia said, no, I want to work with engineers in the same, there is no reason that I'm not in the open space like everyone else. And, these core values was the thing that Mike Spicer was thinking that was the most, important. And I think that's what I would say. That was a good lesson for us. Is that the most important when you hire someone and when you trust someone is that are they sharing your human values, right? It's not it's not are they good at their business. It's are they compatible with you? Are you going to work with them and agree on, because at the end it is a human interaction, and you have to really share this value that we all have, and then sure, you need to have people who are competent, and this is important too. It's just not to say, but the first thing is that
the biggest filter we had at the very beginning was Nancy. Nancy was our EA, our office manager.
Office manager. Yeah.
Office manager. Okay.
I mean, she was doing a lot of things.
She was doing everything, but that was the filter for people didn't know if they were in and out of Snowflake, but that was.
There was an interview with a CFO. Okay, we were looking for a CFO, and there is one, really like an amazing resume, and he came and. Nancy said hello, and I don't think he replied to her, and he said.
So he was out. He was
yes.
cut.
And he was out before he even talked to Bob. I think at the time was the CEO, and he was already rejected. Nancy said.
Nancy said no.
Yeah, and it's such an important, and Bob would never hire without Nancy saying yes, and we kept to that first principle is. You need to work with people you love and you like, and you agree, and I mean you agree, you have compatibility as a human, you can trust them, because the trust, as I said, is such a critical aspect of doing business, and that doesn't come from, it comes from shared values.
You mentioned Frank Slootman,
yes.
who was clearly the commercial guy picked
yes.
to take Snowflake public. First day of trading on the New York Stock Exchange, $70 billion US, at the time the biggest software IPO ever. It was during COVID, so I believe you two weren't physically there, but take me to that day. What were you doing? How did you feel? Was it champagne?
It was a very funny day. First, it was at my place. So even if it was COVID and we were locked down, so Thierry came to my place. We had, family, I think.
Yeah.
So we put the TV in the living room, and my wife, we had to connect the Wi-Fi. So we had to connect to the New York Stock Exchange, because we were all there, remote. And she wanted to connect the TV, and she saw the wireless box, so she unplugged it. And we had no network, it cut, I disappeared. I was able with Thierry, both Thierry and I, because we were prepared.
You're technology founders,
yes.
That's not good.
We barely made it to the IPO because of that. I had to scramble, reconnect the cables and blah, blah, blah. But, so it started that way. And then, of course, the IPO came, and I said, this is crazy. This is way too much. I mean, so it was, good. And then at some point it became, this is too much. Okay, the valuation is too much. Okay?
Because it was a reflection of the expectation that everybody else had on us, and we were. But this expectation was the sinking feelings that, oh shit, we have 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years in front of us to catch up to that valuation.
Maybe not 30 years, but
I don't know.
But I would have rather. So to answer your question, I would have rather have Snowflake start with a lower valuation than But at the same time, it was a very fun day. It was a very fun day. We didn't realize too much what it meant. It's very virtual anyway.
That's really interesting that while it was obviously a celebration, it also just felt more like pressure on the expectation of everything that you had to fulfill for investors, rather than coming from that starting point where you were trying to prove yourselves. It changed the game.
Completely. Okay, now it gets serious.
Now we have to work. Okay.
Now we have to work.
I mean, you two don't pick me as the pair that would check the stock price often, but when it did surge beyond that IPO price to, I think it had a peak of $115 billion US.
Yeah,
did you check it then?
No, not at all. I mean, for yeah, it's hard, to wake up, one day to the next and yeah, and have a lot of money and anyway, there is no way we can spend, a fraction of what we have. So it doesn't matter, at some point it doesn't really matter. Now, for us, what was important is how to give it back, okay? How to, because it doesn't make sense. So that's a part that now we have to think, right? We have to work also to, give it back and my wife is taking care of that. So that's the separation of concerns. I try to.
And as we spoke about before, you're both very much involved in the product now. So it's not like you've sort of cashed out to any degree. You're both still super invested in this company. It's really incredible what you've built. So it's probably too late to say congratulations, given the IPO was in 2020, but we hadn't met then. So congratulations on all of your success. I just have a few more sort of personal questions. Benoit, you did your PhD in France and then you left to go to Oracle in the United States, which is interesting. You felt like France wasn't the place to be able to build and create what you have.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I did some research, then I moved to an engineering IT company. But in France, at the time, I always said, and maybe this is a bit arrogant, but we are artists, right? We are building systems that don't exist. Maybe software is a form of art. How you imagine something and you make it happen and you put it on on paper or on software. So. And it's not like everyone can do that. It's just it's not something. It's an art, and for France, they didn't see that. We were technician at the time. It was a technician, and the goal was to become manager and because what you don't want to be all your life technician. While in the US there was this very deep respect for technology and people who are building technology, and they had a career path, and they could continue, for the rest of their life, like we did, becoming architects and building, amazing, software systems. So I decided that I could not, stay in France because I was passionate to build, stuff. And Thierry was the same, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I mean, France at the time was, in France and Europe in general, technology is a risk. It's not an opportunity. And so it reflects on how people think about the future. I think it has, not to be on the negative side only, but I think it has deeply changed.
I was going to ask that.
Oh, yeah. Big time, yeah.
Big time, We started going back to France, visiting startups, visiting, and there is an ecosystem that is of excitement. It used to be that you would go into the government if you are doing the best engineering school in France. Now I think it has changed, and people are going into the industry and putting their brain at risk, in doing something that is innovative. So I think it has totally changed. Well, the last 10 years, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely, because there are 3 major AI labs there now. There's QTI, there's H, there's Mistral. One of those is backed by LVMH,
yes.
Bernard Arnault. I mean, do you think Europe and especially France is on the come up, and maybe now the US should be afraid of its potential?
I hope. No, I really hope. I think this is, it's not like I left France because I wanted to leave France. I left because I really wanted to work on an interesting technology, and so I'm super happy that it has changed, as Thierry was saying, that there is this vibrant, startup mindset, and wanted to build things and wanted to take some risks too. But I'm excited by the technology. That's the most important thing, building things. So no, this is great. This is indeed very great, and yeah, I think that. The US can be a little bit, especially these days. Okay, I don't want to go in the politics side of it, but I mean, talents is attracted was attracted, because you could build, whatever. Now, I don't think that's. I think it's important to attract talent wherever it comes from, and this is a huge opportunity for the rest of the world to do that. I was, talking yesterday to someone who was saying, I really want New Zealand to really, be this place where things are built. And I said, this is a huge opportunity for the world to take over, what the United States was doing, because indeed, it's a very attractive country. So why not?
Our smaller countries should all try and win in AI and tech.
Yeah.
But just stop beating us in rugby, please. That
Yeah,
would be
we'll
nice.
try. That's a little bit harder ask.
Thank you so much for your time. It was amazing to chat to you both. I really
Okay.
appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching Markets with Madison. If you enjoyed this interview, please hit the like and subscribe buttons below. I do all of the research for these episodes myself, so your support means a lot. I always love to hear your feedback and ideas, so please drop any thoughts in the comments below. Now go put your money to work.